What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode on the Landscaping Podcast, powered by Landscaping Unlimited. I am your host, Zachary Small, and today we're talking about how you have to take time to enjoy what it is you're building. And so, a lot of the messages that we talk about, we're pushing the message that go forward, lock in, be a professional, raise the standard. But there have been a few episodes where we've taken the time to slow down, reflect, make sure that what you're building is aligned with where it is that you're trying to go, and take an opportunity now and then to just be like, all right, we're good enough is good enough. And you can't let perfection be what gets in the way of progression, where you get so focused on being perfect that you're not enjoying anything along the way, even though you're progressing. And so if you're running a business, and this goes for any small business owner, there's always somewhere else you're looking to get. There's a certain financial milestone you're looking to surpass monthly or annually. There's a certain amount of inventory you're looking to push. There's a certain amount of clients you're looking to satisfy. There's a certain just target that you're always setting that you're not at, because that's what keeps you hungry and going forward. But like, don't let that be what destroys you. Look how far you've come. Take a moment to sit there and reflect upon that part. And that's the hardest part for most people, because they're looking for the next thing. It's easy to focus on the next thing. It's easy to get mad at yourself for sitting down. It's easy to get frustrated saying you're being lazy for relaxing and not being on the grind. And there's a balance there that you've got to find, because both are necessary. If you're an ambitious, high achieving person, I just read a tweet from Sahil Bloom. He's a business owner, he's an entrepreneur, he's a philanthropist of sorts, and I'm on his newsletter, and he was talking about how, you know, one of the biggest enemies of ambitious people is fighting that voice that says, free time or relaxation is a bad thing. And I'm paraphrasing. He said it much better. You should follow him. But he basically put it into words where he's saying the hardest part of being a driven, motivated person is that moment where you're sitting there taking time to yourself and you're not beating yourself up for it. Because it's in those moments of relaxation that the pieces can come together. What I mean by that, if you work out all the time and you never take a day off to let your body recover, you're never going to see, like, what does a fully recovered you, what are you able to push as far as weight goes? Like, when you really you take 2 or 3 days off. I was talking to Shay's Uncle Mike about this recently. He took a few days off, and when he went back to the gym, he was much stronger, because for the first time after taking those days off, his body could heal instead of just being the continuous grind. It actually got to like stop for a second, repair itself, and then it could pick up heavier weights. And that's awesome, because it really fits into the conversation right now, where if you stop that push, if you slow down for a minute, if you grab the book and just go read, and don't get mad at yourself for reading, and don't think about 1,000 other things you should be doing but reading during that time, but you just sit and you can read, part of your brain subconsciously is going to continue to work on the things that you have going on in your life. And so taking the time to slow things down and to relax and to give yourself permission to breathe, that's how your brain is going to solve a lot of the problems. As much as I run Landscaping Limited, I run Z Photography and Media. And there are times where I'm taking time away from the photography to not go take photos, to relax, to center myself. And in doing so, I come up with better ideas for the photography, or I have better like looks in my head that I want to go and take. And it's interesting to see that play out, because I always think like I've got to have the pedal to the metal and going forward. And I pretty much do. I put out a lot of content, but it's when I can slow down that like I can actually look at this differently, and I can breathe. And it's like the track stops moving for a second. So I don't have to keep looking at what's ahead of me with the things behind me or present kind of blurring by. I can actually be in the present. I can slow down. There's no blur. And then I can see it better. And then I'll understand better. Here's what I need to do to get to where it is I want to go. And so look at your business like that. No matter what it is that you're doing, if you can slow down a little bit, you can start to reflect upon what it is you have going on. And in that, making a better plan as to where it is you want to go and how you're going to achieve those goals. And so giving yourself that freedom of not just working on the grind, not constantly being in motion, that slowing down, that focusing on not always not being good enough, like instead focusing on, hey, I'm making progress. I have goals, but like I'm doing well. We're moving in the right direction. That's going to take a huge weight off your shoulders. That's going to make this sustainable for the long term. You're not going to be burning out. You're not going to be hating the entire process. I hate when I speak with business owners who are like, I'm just so busy. I'm just so frustrated. I just can't do enough. I just can't catch up. And it's like, breathe, relax. You're good. There's no like trying to catch up, because once you do the things you think you needed to do to catch up, there's going to be more things to do. So therefore, you're still behind because you haven't done those new things to do that came up when you caught up in the other stuff you needed to catch up on. If you slow the time down, that does make sense. So what I said actually does make sense. So make sure you keep it up with that because you have to understand that. Like that's an important part of this. There's always going to be something to do. If I thought, well, I just need to catch up on these 20 photos, while I make those 20 photos, I'm going to either take more photos along the way that I have to also edit, or I'm going to remember that there are other photos that I could go back to and fix. So therefore, there's never a moment where I'm there, where like there's a full album, there's literally zero things for me to work on. So to enjoy the process, to be a part of this and to make it sustainable and to keep having fun doing this, I give myself permission to kind of step back. And this is not something I've always done. Like, let me not like try to pull the wool over your eyes or like spread a lie at all. I have a hard time with this too. Like, but I don't let it destroy me. I understand and I'm aware enough to know I've got to give myself grace to go and just be a better person, but not be a perfect person. And you've got to give yourself that same grace. You've got to give yourself permission to be somebody who's trying, but not perfect at what it is you're trying to do. And that's okay because that's called being human. And if you want to be a higher performer, well, you just got to put out more and be able to carry like a heavier load or solve a bigger problem. You know, the amount, the size of the problem that you solve is often equal to the amount of compensation you get for solving that problem. And so whatever it takes for you to solve the problems you're solving, well, if you can solve bigger problems, if you can find a better way to do that, a faster way to do that, a way to do that without you personally having to be in the spot to do the thing, well, then you're going to find yourself getting a higher financial reward or growth through your socials, whatever your target is, like whatever it is you're looking to do, you'll start to see that happening. But you got to slow down for that to happen. And so slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's something I've used in baseball for a long time. I'm starting to use it in life. You know, I've got to slow down, and that's going to smooth things out. When things are running smooth, they're actually going a lot faster, they're a lot more efficient. And so for you, take the moment to slow down, to appreciate what it is you have going on. It's Wednesday, it's the middle of the week. So listen to this, apply it, and let's make your Thursday, Friday much more smooth and less stressful than the beginning of the week. Give yourself grace. You're trying, you're doing your best. Keep on doing that. Allow yourself to just relax a little bit and focus on something else. Like I said, read the book, go paint, go for a walk, do whatever it is you got to do that's not actually work. And I'm willing to bet, and I would love to hear back. If I'm wrong, let me know. But I'm confident that I'm not wrong because I'm not a person who likes to be wrong. You will find yourself solving the problems of work when you're out on that walk. Or you'll finish your painting and in some way it's going to inspire a thought where you're like, all right, I actually know how to get back to work and I'm more motivated to get back to work. And I've got an idea as to how I can make the work better. So that's your lesson for today. Slow things down, enjoy the process, give yourself grace, and you're going to find yourself not only enjoying the job that you're doing instead of being stressed by it, but you're going to be getting better at it and you're going to have better ideas. Hit me up if you need any help or if you have any advice that you're looking to either pass on to me or get from me on how you can achieve this. But I look forward to having more conversations like this because, like the last episode where I said you've got to be professional, like you've got to relax like a professional. And professional folks are not owned by their business. They are owning their business and running their business, but they have lives outside of it. And that's why they can sustain it. So stay well. Appreciate you guys tuning into this episode on Landscape Podcast.